On behalf of the Work Better Now team, I'd like to welcome everybody to this episode of Working Better Now, featuring a Q&A with a top business leader. And today, I'm really thrilled to be joined by Joe Rojas. He is the CEO, Chief Visionary Person, and Business Advisor at Red Sapiens. Joe, thanks so much for being with us here today.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be part of the Work Better family.
Thanks. And as a side note, it's strange that you and I only recently met within the past, 12 months or so.
Yeah.
We're both been very active in the New York business community. So, and then once we met, it felt like I met a long lost brother.
Yeah. It's like like there are people that you meet in life, and it's like you've known each other for 20 years. And for me, it was the same type of experience. It was having, a real partnership, a real connection. I really, really have enjoyed being able to connect with you that way.
I'm really glad that Rafi Salem connected us. He definitely deserves props.
He's a rock star, that guy.
Yeah. So
I think he's the Bald Club,
Yeah. We should start the Bald Club of Westchester, even though I'm technically in the Bronx. So Joe, tell us a little bit about Red Sapiens.
Well, so we're a fickle animal, right? So we are a business advisory or consulting firm that focuses on helping sub-$1 million companies hit their first million, or companies that are over $1 million hit their next million. And we're a combination of advisory service, consulting, coaching, all mixed into one, with some really hardcore heavy hitters that have all run their own businesses.
Fantastic. And when did you start that business?
I started it back in 2013. And when I started, it was interesting. I started as a life coach, right? So it was like my side thing. I had a big IT company, and I'd been training myself as a coach already for about 8 or 10 years. And I said, you know what? I'm going to start a little side business, just doing some life coaching because I enjoy it, right? And inevitably, what would happen is we would get through the life coaching cycle really quickly, and then people would go, can you help me with my business? Right? And then I started doing that. And then all of a sudden, we started producing like amazing results. We were getting people that had been stuck at $200,000-$300,000 for 5 years, 10 years, whatever it was, over $1 million in 12 to 18 months. And it was like we had something. So then we started working on that.
That's fantastic. So Joe, tell us about how you got there. Tell us about your how you got started in business. I know you were in the military. Tell us a little bit about that.
Cool. So I'm going to start back at when I was 11.
So when I was, or were you bald then too?
No, I wasn't bald then. I had hair. So when I was 11 years old, I quit school and started working full time. My mom was not well, and it was just the two of us. And so I worked full time. When I turned 17, I opened my first business. I had about 25 bouncers working for me. I had a blast. It was really great. And then Desert Shield turned to Desert Storm. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go get my GD and I'm going to join the military, which I did. I spent 2 years in the regular Army. By the time my school was over, the war was over. So they sent me back to my National Guard unit. And then I applied for a job at the Department of Defense. I worked with them for 4 years. Then I got poached by a biomedical engineering company, worked with them for a couple of years, got poached by an IT company, worked with them for a bit. And then I said, I'm going to open my own IT company. And then I failed horribly. And after that happened, I started, trying to figure it out. And a good friend of mine gave me a book, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, and said, here, you keep trying to run your business like a tech. You got to run it like a business owner. And then after I finished the book and I got done crying, I saw the mistakes that I had made. I started trying some of the things, and some of them were a little difficult for me because I was small. And then I started cobbling a system together, right? And within 18 months, I was over $1 million. I'd been stuck at a quarter million. I had a bunch of debt. Then I sold the business. and started another IT company, sold that, started another IT company, and kind of hung out for a while, grew to $4 or $5 million, started helping people to grow their businesses. And one day I woke up and said, I just want to do the help people part, not the technology part, sold my interest, and here we are.
Very cool. Awesome.
It's a long journey, man. Put
It's
30
amazing
years.
with so many business owners, how there's some sort of failure point that actually becomes, it's almost like if you don't have that, it's hard to succeed. I know so many ultra successful business owners, they all have at least one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have to, if you're going to be effective, you have to get good at failing.
That's right. That's right. Otherwise there's no progress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Just fail forward. That's all.
Yeah.
It's like the next failure needs to be a little bit bigger than the last failure. That's all. You just keep.
Tell us a little bit about your team at Red Sapiens.
Great. So we have a phenomenal team. So we have our the person who really runs the company, Carla Campos, is our ops person. She manages all the advisors. So there's Jeff Lair. Jeff Lair, comes from big corporate marketing. So he has all those concepts, and has created some of the biggest jewelry marketing campaigns, and is now with us. Like he used to run his own company called Engage. We now merged together, and that's really fun. Then we have Heather Mathis, who also corporate, comes out of she was in SC Johnson. She was one of the executives accountable for supply chain management there. So currently she teaches supply chain management at the US supply chain manager for the federal government management organization. Brilliant person. She's leading one of our courses at Rutgers University right now at the Rutgers Business School Center for Entrepreneurial and Economic Development. And then we have Morris Stemp, who was the CFO of a $10 million managed services provider. So we focus a lot on managed services and IT companies because I came from that space. We're also in other verticals like architecture and accounting, but the bulk of our clients are on the MSP space. And so between the two of us, we have probably around 60 years of MSP experience.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And what do you consider your role as the CEO to be? You have all this firepower on your team. What do you consider your role, and what do you do every day?
That's a really great question, right? So my role is to stay as much out of the way as possible, to look at the future and create new things, and give the opportunity to the team to create the structures that are going to get us there, right? So I have an idea. I bring it to the team. They go, "You're crazy." I go, "Okay, how are we going to do it?" And then they figure out how we're going to do it. So the advantage of having a team is, and I think part of it also is you've got to be. I know I'm not the smartest person in the room, and that's great. I am so blessed right now that the people in the room are just the most phenomenal human beings to walk the earth, and I get to hang out with them. So I think that the role of a CEO is to really surround himself with as many people that are smarter than he is, that are as possible, so that his role is just to go out and keep creating the future, right? And then have these amazing people build all the structures that fulfill the future.
I love that his role or her role is just to keep creating the future. I love that. It's right. It's so dead on. So, we're big believers that what you do is really important, right? But how businesses do things is really important. That's actually the basis of this series, Working Better Now. How can we share ideas on better ways to work? Not necessarily, doesn't matter if you do this, if you're in blue collar, white collar, et cetera. So tell us a little bit about some of the things, I guess, not only that, some of the things that you guys do really well, whether it's leveraging technology or processes, but also how you're helping your clients. Those might be two different questions. They may be the same.
Yeah, well, so I'm gonna answer the second one first, okay? Because most of us come from hardcore tech backgrounds, we leverage technology for everything. So we have automated sequences for everything. So if I meet you somewhere, I have an automated sequence and I'm going to put you in that's going to follow up with you. I can't follow up with 500 people, but I can create an automation sequence that is consistent with the types of communications that I want to send people. And I can send those out once I meet you and I say, okay, I really like you. I'd like to stay in touch with you. And then every time you interact with me, then you're interacting with me. So when you respond, you're like, hey, that's cool. Let's talk. So we use HubSpot to do a lot of that automation. We like HubSpot. We use ActiveCampaign. We use Teams for some things. We use Slack for other things. I mean, we really have a full. We have a learning with two learning platforms. One is called Sutra, which is more for thoughtful engagement type of learning, right? Where you're creating a conversation or a conversational space online that's a little bit more intimate and private. And then we use another platform called Thinkific, which is really just to deliver learning management system type evergreen courses. So, and we can make some of those available for your folks if you like. So that'd be fun, right?
We'll add that to the transcript. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second part. So ask me the first part of the question because I asked them the second part first.
So
what do we do to help our clients?
Yeah. What are some of the things where you help your clients work better?
Yeah. The most important thing I think we do for our clients is help them understand their business. What is their value proposition? It is amazing to me to this day how most people don't understand their own value proposition. They know everything else. So if you look at this diagram behind me, they know who their key partners are. They know their key resources. They know their cost structure. They know their key activities. They know their customer segments. They know the channels. They know all this other stuff. But this middle one, that is the one that is supposed to drive everything, they have no idea what that is. And everything, all those other things are to serve that. And your ability to communicate your value proposition effectively, have core values, vision, and mission and strategy that are designed to drive that value proposition changes the game.
Give us an example of how you helped a client.
Great. So that's really great. So I'm working with an MSP now. I started with him in February of 2018. Yeah, managed service provider. Thank you for for detechifying me, right? So I'm working with a managed service provider. I started with him back in 2018, February 2018, right? In February of 2018, he was 6 people and about $800,000-900,000 in annual revenue. Okay. And it would fluctuate. And what would happen is every time he would grow a little bit, he'd start to bleed clients. And then he would grow a little bit, and then he'd start to bleed client. And he'd been stuck there. He'd been trying to get unstuck and couldn't get unstuck. And so then when we met, I said, well, first thing is you're going to have to pick 2 of the 5 people that work for you. And those are going to be your leadership team. So he did. So we went to work on that. And we created a core values. We created the vision. We created a mission. We started to create processes. We started to put systems in place. So in the first 6 months, we did an extra $200,000 in revenue just on what I call you left it on the table revenue, right? So just with his existing clients, we went back and fixed that. But once we had this process in place, fast forward to today, he's 18 people, right? 5 people on the leadership team, solid. $2.7 million. If it weren't for COVID, he'd be at 3.5 because we had to do no on-site projects this year, right? So I know exactly, like as soon as on-site opens back up again, he's got $700,000 worth of projects that are just sitting, waiting, right? And he grew through the pandemic, added people, grew in revenue, all of it. And so once you have a system and a process in place, we're actually just finishing a case study and videos and everything about him. And it's really phenomenal to be able to be part of that. But you know what my favorite part is? He gets to spend more time with his family.
Right.
He gets to go on vacation with his kids. He has a life.
That's awesome.
That's
Now,
my favorite part.
go back to the value prop, though. You talked about the mission, the vision, the processes. How did helping him identify the value prop and articulate the value prop, how did that help him grow?
Well, first, once he articulated the value prop, he got that he helps a specific client. Right? So it's like
everybody,
us.
you're helping nobody. Right.
Yeah.
You help everybody, you're helping nobody. Yeah.
Right.
You got to know what your niche is.
So he knew specifically who that client was. And the second that got clear, all the noise went away. It was like, shoo. Right. And I'm not saying you have to pick one client forever. You saw that we even had light effects. I'm not saying you have to pick one client forever. But when you're small, the narrower you can get, the clearer you can say, I work with financial advisors that have businesses that are between $200,000 and $500,000, and they're left-handed, and they wear blue pants and red shirts, and and that's it.
Now you know exactly what to look for, as opposed to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes I hear you. It makes a world of difference. Let's switch gears a little bit. Joe, since we've met, you've referred a lot of clients to Work Better Now, which thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
Tell us why.
Well, there's a multitude of reasons, right? I've referred clients to you that are my prospects. They're not even my clients yet. And the reason why I've done that is because I know how overwhelmed they are when I'm talking to them before they become my clients, right? And I say to them, you know what? Before you even go to work with me, you need an assistant. You need somebody to get this load off of you, and you need to get that person onboarded so that they can help you manage your email, manage your calendar, manage your time. Most entrepreneurs think they can do everything themselves.
Kiss of death.
And the cost of doing that is ridiculous. And the cost of Work Better is amazing. So the value that you get for the money that you spend is 8, 10, 15, 20, 30 fold. So what I do is I refer them sometimes that way, or sometimes I'll already be working with someone and see that they're drowning and go, hey, do you know that you're drowning? I know, I can help. Right? Go talk to these guys. And I send them to you, or I send them to Andrew. And both of you are brilliant at what you do. So why Work Better other than, because we, you know how many times I've gotten approached for this and I've said no? Why Work Better? Because your people are vetted. I've worked with them. One of our clients actually has one of them on their leadership team. You want to get that.
That's really cool.
That's a big deal.
I didn't know that. It's cool. It's amazing to hear that.
Right? So they are producing results. They are smart. They're communicative. They are fast. And I know that my clients can trust their information, which is a big deal, to somebody they haven't met because of you, because I trust you.
Yeah.
Right. And so I know you're gonna make sure that trust relationship doesn't get broken. And so that's why.
Thank you. And thanks again for that. Trust makes the world go round. In fact, Jack Daly, who was on a previous version of this and was maybe the world's top sales guru, says that sales is the transfer of trust. It's
absolutely
a really powerful statement.
100%.
Let's switch gears one more time here. What do you like to do when you're not working?
I love spending time with my kids. So my daughter, I have 2 daughters. One's 28. She'll be 29 this month. One is 10. And then I have a son that's 8. And so my 28-year-old is an artist. So, and she also writes. So we're spending some time. Actually, we're working together now on a leadership framework and what is leadership, and she has some ideas about it, and And then my 10-year-old is also an artist. And so we spend time doing acrylics and oil pastels and stuff like that, and me outlining stuff. I'm a sculptor and an artist, so I do oil pastels, but she does acrylics. So we spend time doing that. And my son likes strategy stuff, so we spend our time playing Go, or we're now going to learn how to play chess together. And so that's my favorite thing to do when I'm not doing this, is doing that.
That's awesome. That's cool. Joe, how can we learn more? How can people learn more about you and Red Sapiens?
So the best way is to go to our newsletter, which is startgrowmanage.com. So you go to startgrowmanage.com, you can do an operational maturity assessment for your business. It's all free. We have some free content, really great. And we have a lot of information there that's super useful to small businesses. So you can go there, you can subscribe to our newsletter. Our newsletter is weekly, and it's all content designed to help you grow your business and give you the tools that you need to expand.
Very cool. Awesome. Joe, thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your day to spend time with the Work Better Now community. And look forward to seeing you soon. We still haven't met in person. We got to fix that problem.
I know. We're going to have to fix that soon, but it's an amazing world that we live in.
Yeah. All right, Joe, thanks again so much. And thanks again for referring people to us and trusting your clients with us. We really appreciate it on behalf of the entire team.
It's my pleasure.